This is Tuesday, evening prayer reflection, and July 7th. And this morning, our focus is on Numbers, the book of Numbers, chapter 35. It gives us a story of the organization of the tribes of Israel with a special emphasis on the Levites and other groups. So, as Israelites took possession of the promised land, Moses was aware that the Levites needed provision since their job was always something to do with the work of the temple. So in the Jewish history, we learn that these descendants of Levi were selected for this job much earlier when God saved them as firstborn in Egypt. So they were designated for this role of priesthood. I remember from my poor knowledge of Hebrew now, the word Kohen means priest. So they were devoted to priestly duties, providing Israel with encouragement and prayer and a strong moral compass for the entire nation. So I imagine other tribes did the rest of the hard work, such as military, social organization, and other things of the community. But this is the reason they needed to be provided for. So Moses asked that the Levite be given towns to live in and places where their cattle could live. So we realize that most of this were really idealistic because we find in the Bible that priests lived in different cities as well. So in other words, the Levites were the servants of God. So likewise, we should take care of the Levite. You see, I am guilty of something. The most fascinating request from God was the city of refuge. There weren't many, it was only 6 of them, 6 cities they were asking. They were designed primarily for Israelites who were guilty of involuntary manslaughter. They were meant to be cities of refuge from hasty judgments. So someone commits a crime and then everybody, the mob just come and murder that person, or for just vindictive violence. So, but here is the thing. What a far cry our modern cities are from being God's cities of refuge. Do we have slums in the world with high crime? Yes. Imperfect judicial procedures? Yes. Jesus went through one, by the way. Do we have corrupt politics in our world? Yes. So these cities would help someone who took a life accidentally pending a trial to find out what really happened. So this differs from when a person has an intent to kill, what they call premeditated. So this person would be protected from vengeful attacks. Well, in today's world, it doesn't surprise us anymore when people get killed in prison, where supposedly they are supposed to be protected. It happens everywhere, unfortunately. In addition, verse 15 says that these cities shall also serve the resident and the transient alien. Wow. Not only these Israelites, but people, strangers from other countries, the Ethiopian, the Bangladeshi, the Indian, people from Rome coming if they don't have a place to stay. That's the place that they're going to be going to live. God is so thoughtful. A few years back, I had a dream to create cities of refuge after I finished my my postgrad studies. But I hear that now there is something called the City of God in Congo DRC. Women who are victims of civil war and sexual violence took over that particular part of the land and created a place of healing for them where only women and children live. They help each other and protect each other. How sad that these institutions that are supposed to protect them in reality cannot protect them, and they are left to fend for themselves. God is on the side of the poor and the victim. If God can design cities of refuge, having in mind the safety and the welfare of those made in His own image, we should join in His activity, defending the weak and the presumed innocent. If not, we are doomed because it doesn't really pay to go against God. We never win, even if we try. God says, I dwell among the Israelites. Now I want to meditate a little bit about that. I dwell among the Israelites. A place where God dwells is sacred. It should be revered. Our personal vendettas don't belong there. Our personal agendas don't belong there. And they just end the moment we enter into that holy space where God dwells. God's agenda only prevails there. The more we learn each day, each moment about who God is, the more we realize that our little particularities, our little things that we have in our world fades into nothingness, whereas God's love and purposes fills everything. Yesterday we were looking at Romans chapter 8 verse 26 to 28. It says, we know that all things work together for good for those who love God, who are called according to His purposes. That in everything that happens, the good and the bad and the joyful, the sad, everything, in the end, the Lord prevails. And for those who love God, His purposes end up happening. So I learn that God loves His priests. I am encouraged, of course. But God also loves the poor and the innocent and the stranger and the alien with no hope, no connection, no means. God is the Father of the fatherless, the unprotected, the unrecognized, the marginalized, the undocumented. God cares. God cares. Everybody else might not care, but God cares. Will we join God in His quest to defend the undefended? Thank you.